Greetings, ladies, gentlemen, and monsters of all ages. Welcome to the Steamworks, the place for getting rewards of all shapes and sizes from a man who is likely to blow up the entirety of Celiana someday in an activity designed to help you practice raising your erections per minute. And before you ask me why this is a facility that you need to pay attention to, the answer is simple. Celestial Virion prints. These are the master rank version of the gold Virion print, meaning that you can trade these for master rank mantles, which suffice it to say are more than a little bit useful for upgrading your equipment. Previously, tickets like these were tied to weekly events, and you can actually still find the gold Virion prints by doing weekly events. However, the master rank tickets have so far only come from your good old pal, the Steamworks. In fact, you can actually get a ton of rewards from this activity, including decorations for your house, a bunch of armor spheres, and even if you are really bad at the Steamworks, you still have a decent chance of getting a max potion on every single attempt. So no matter what you want from this game, there is a decent chance that the Steamworks will help you get there. So now that you know why you should spend some time at the Steamworks, how exactly does it work? And what input do you really have in the whole experience? Well, the Steamworks pops up 3 little buttons for you, which of course vary based on your console. Your job is to press these buttons and guess the order the game has secretly chosen. Now, no matter how unacceptable it really seems, we all have to understand that 95% of the time, there is absolutely no way to work out the button order ahead of time. I don't have the time! Meaning that it is completely and totally random, to the point that patterns can repeat as well, so really you just have to press the buttons and hope you're right. You get a check mark for every button pressed in the correct order, and an X for every button pressed in the wrong order. The X's don't necessarily make you lose anything, but as you may expect, the check marks are very good. For a 0, 1, or 2 checkmark round of Steamworks, you will get a gray quality item. This is things like potions and mega potions and trank bombs. Whereas if you guess an entire set correctly, meaning if you get all 3 checkmarks in one of the little rounds, you get a yellow quality item. These are your max potion, dust of life, mega barrel bombs, all that kind of good stuff. If you see a jackpot round happen, which is when the boxes turn red and the tech chief gets really excited and you guess the full set of 3 correctly on the jackpot, then you get a red quality item. These are things like a decoration for your room, larger armor spheres, armor tickets, trade-in items, and the big kahuna, the Celestial Virion print. To add a little layer of complexity to the Steamworks, there are a couple of random events. You'll know one of these is on the horizon when the tech chief tells you that you have a chance at a bonus time. If you get a set of inputs correct during this, you will cause one of the 2 events, one of which is called Felines Lending a Paw, in which the little Palico helpers pop up and literally show you the order of the buttons for a short time. This is when it is important to stop spamming the buttons because it is really easy to follow their instructions and boost your productivity. Man, this is really starting to sound like a day job. The second random event is called Full Steam Ahead. This one just gives you a cool close view of the Steamworks with fire pumping out, and every correct guess that you do fills up your heat gauge more than usual. Which brings me to the main mechanic of the Steamworks activity, the heat gauge itself. The bar on your screen will slowly fill up with yellow, then orange, and then red through your Steamworks session. It goes up every time you get anything correct, so any check marks will make your heat gauge go up. This is a very good thing, and in fact is the entire goal of the overall Steamworks activity, because once the heat gauge reaches the end of the red bar, you go into overdrive and get that real neat cutscene where everyone's running around feeding the machine as much coal as possible. Even the handler, the quirky person she is, gets involved and honestly probably only makes things worse.
Yeah, well, what else is new?
The result of this overdrive is a ton of extra items, including blue rarity items, which essentially are just a guaranteed high-end red rarity item. It just comes from the overdrive, so it's blue. So decorations, Celestial Virion prints, and king armor spheres. After the cutscene, the Steamworks resets to its default state. This overdrive is how you are expected to frequently get the best items, whereas the random jackpots along the middle can still give you things like heavy armor spheres. In order to trigger an overdrive, you will need to get a lot of correct answers over time, and every set of buttons actually costs fuel, so this is a limited system. You will gain a ton of the natural fuel from just finishing quests, mopping up objectives, and returning. This fuel caps out at 700 by default, however the stored fuel is where you'll really build up some good storage, as this all comes from the dragon vein coal you can find when mining occasionally, just passively giving you extra fuel. If you are super desperate to play the Steamworks some more, you can also convert pretty much any regular ore into fuel, but the exchange rate is absolutely disgustingly bad, so I wouldn't recommend doing this to anyone for any reason. Like, honestly, you're better off going and mining and hoping for random dragon vein coal bits to fuel it properly. Now, there is one final little secret to making your time at the Steamworks more efficient.
That is good news. I'll be honest. That is good news.
And to give the game credit, it does tell you this. However, it tells you this in a tiny little box that disappears really quickly that also happens to pop up right at the end of the crazy frantic overdrive cinematic, right in the middle of you getting some really fancy rewards, and it's the first time that you see the cinematic that the message pops up, so you're extremely distracted and is very easy to miss. So after the first time that you put these Steamworks into overdrive, you unlock the ability to hold the right trigger on your controller to automatically input buttons. It always does it in the same order, but seeing as the button order of the Steamworks is inherently 100% random with no patterns of any sort, you don't really lose anything by using this function. The only thing I would recommend if you do choose to do it this way is to be very aware of the bonus event, specifically the feline help bonus event, as you don't want to just random through the event that plasters the correct buttons in the middle of your screen. As a whole, what we wind up with here is a really neat little minigame built to give you free rewards for just hunting the way you normally would. All it requires you to do is spend a few minutes at a time pressing some buttons or holding a button down, and you get some really neat free stuff with a chance at some genuinely fantastic items at the higher end of the activity, and the amount of skill involved is essentially non-existent, so it's just a fun, relaxing minigame that gives you free stuff, that's all. Alright everyone, I have been Cotton Dinosaur, and this has been your guide to the Steamworks. How do you feel about the Steamworks? What's the first mantle you'll be crafting with your celestial Virion prince? Like if you liked the video, subscribe and hit the notification bell for more, and most importantly, ladies and gentlemen, until next time, stay sweet. This is the brand new outro to tell you all the things that you do that we love, so let's start with something simple and say, oh, we love your eyes. When they're watching us play video games, when we make a bunch of jokes that are kinda lame, or when they gaze upon our failures as we try to kill the monsters or report important news about the kingdom Animalia. Rage, Continent, Hollow, we're all here, talking about the things you want to hear, so if you want to be the first to hear, like and subscribe and the bell and we'll cheer. Some of you are patrons even though we are all the noobs and you're the pros, there's nothing we can do to thank you. No, really, there's nothing we could possibly do. Goodbye.